Section 5. Green 9. They ran, stumbling and breathless, jostling others in the corridor, a sea of panicked people, red dyed and alarm lights. As sirens still went, there was a queasiness of G as station systems struggled to keep themselves stable. "It's the docks," Damon breathed, his vision blurring. A runner hit him, and he fended the body off, pushed his way, with Josh in his wake where the ramp opened onto 9. "Mazian's peeled off." It was all that made sense. Shrieks broke out, and there was a massive backflow in the crowd that brought all the press to a stop. Of a sudden, traffic began to go the other way, people retreating from something. There were frantic screams, bodies jammed against them. "Damon!" Josh yelled from behind him. It was no good. They were pushed back, all of them, against the crush of bodies behind. Shots streaked overhead, and the whole jammed mass quivered and rang with screams. Damon got his arms in front of him for leverage, to keep from being suffocated. Ribs were compressed. Then the rear of the press turned, running in panic down some route of escape, and the crush became a battering flood. He tried to stand in it, having his own direction. A hand caught his arm, and Josh caught up with him, staggered as the mob shoved and stampeded, and they tried to fight the current. More shots. A man went down. More than one hit. The fire was going into the crowd. "Stop shooting!" Damon shouted, still with a wall of people in front of him, a wall diminishing as if a scythe were hitting it. "Cease fire!" Someone grabbed him from the back, pulled him as fire came through. He got the edge of one and jerked in pain, scrambling for balance in the rout, running now. It was Josh with him, pulling him along in their retreat. A man's back exploded an arm's length ahead of them, and the man fell under the others. "This way!" Josh yelled, jerked him left, down a side corridor where part of the route was going. He went, that direction as good as the other, saw a way to double back through, redoubled his effort to get to the docks, running through the maze of secondary corridors back again to 9. They made it as far as 3 intersections, frantic people scattering everywhere, at 3 intersections of the corridors, staggering in the flux of G, and then screams broke out in the halls ahead. "Look out!" Josh yelled, catching at him. He gasped air and turned, ran where the curving inner hall rose up, and up into what was going to turn into a blank wall, the sector division. Not blank. There was a way. Josh yelled and tried to drag him back when he saw the cul-de-sac. "Come on!" He snapped and caught Josh's sleeve, kept running as the wall came down off the horizon at them, became level, a blank wall with a painted mural, and at the right, the heavy door of a downer hatchway. He leaned up against the wall, fumbled his card out, jammed it in the slot. The hatch opened with a gust of tainted air, and he dragged Josh into it, into virtual dark, numbing cold. The door sealed, air exchange started, and Josh looked about in panic. Damon reached for the masks in the recess, thrust one at Josh, got one over his own face, and sucked a restricted breath, trembling so that he could hardly get the band adjusted. "Where are we going?" Josh asked, voice changed by the mask. "Now what?" There was a lamp in the recess. He took it, thumbed the light on. He reached for the inner door switch, opened it, a sound that echoed up and up. A slant of the beam picked out catwalks. They were on a grid, and a ladder went down farther still, into a round tube. G diminished dizzyingly. He caught at the rail. Aline would be in the worst of it. She would go to cover, get those office doors locked. Had to. He was not able to get through out there. Had to get to help. Reach a point where he could get security forces moving in a front that could stop it. Up. Get up to the high levels. That was White Sector on the other side of that partition. He tried to find an access to it, but the beam showed no way. There was no direct connection, section to section, except the docks. Except on number 1 level. He remembered that. Complicated lock systems. Downers knew where. He did not. Get to Central, he thought. Get to an upper hall, and get to Comm. Everything was amiss. G out of balance. The fleet had gone, maybe merchanters too, throwing them out of stability. And Central was not correcting it. Something was massively wrong up there. He turned, staggered as G surged sickeningly, grabbed an upslanted rail and started climbing. Josh followed.